Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into the Victory Monday edition of Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Jacob in Wisconsin. We got Tim in Green Bay here to talk to you guys and gals about Packer football on a Victory Monday. Really excited about the show. We're just going to kind of relive a little bit of what happened last night. We'll talk about the Packer fans showing up in force in Arizona. Really cool story there. We'll also hit on the updated power rankings for Bucky Brooks. If you guys don't know who that is, former NFL scout, also played for the Packers for a short stint as well. He gives his power rankings. I think you guys will be happy with those. We'll also dive into a little Jordan Love hate from the national sports media. We'll get into that a little bit and try to figure out what the hell those knuckleheads are talking about. We'll talk about Micah Parsons dominating last night, and then we'll wrap up with some PFF grades. We'll give you guys all the top offensive performers from last night and also the top defensive performers, and just kind of look at everything as a whole. Before we do, though, if you guys would, let's do that YouTube stuff. Hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of your Victory Monday. We're not experts here. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're fans just like you talking Packers on the daily. So if you're looking for that type of content, make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. Boys, how we doing? What's on your mind? Anything you guys want to hit on before we get this thing cranked up? Anything at all, man?
Victory Monday. And Rex Ryan is a moron. That's about it. That's all I got.
I usually don't say that about former coaches, but he seems like he is really pressed into the whole, okay, we got to say something shocking out here, right? And, you know, surprise from the guy who had the foot fetish, right? You guys remember that story. So he's just never shied away from, obviously, controversy. And, of course, his former QB1, I think he's still in the clink, or did he get bailed out already? What's going on with Mark Sanchez? Allegedly, of course,
allegedly, according to several closed circuit cameras.
Yeah. Allegedly. All right. Well, Mark Sanchez walked down that alley and said,
"Scared money don't make money."
You know what I'm saying? Be careful with that stuff on Saturday night. But anyway, he didn't call that game that Sunday either, did he? No, what? I about said a bad word. That knucklehead, that moron, that trying to think of a better way of putting it. I about said something really bad there. So,
well, Matt LaFleur let one slip. I think you know that, Clayton.
Yeah, I thought about using it as a drop, but it's quite the wordy dirt, you know. So we better not use it. I loved his reaction. The way the clip ends too is he kind of looks at the camera like, crap. He did a Jim Halpert like, oh.
I was gonna say,
you know,
you think God never farted?
Let some slip every now and again.
One thing I will say, if you don't mind, I actually was listening to the Matt LaFleur's press conference that just went live, I believe, like 50 minutes ago or so. I got about 10-15 minutes in before we had to jump on here. Man, LaFleur gives zero you-know-whats nowadays when they start trying to bait them into some kind of clickbaity type arguments or even questions. Somebody asked him basically, what's it like to play Aaron Rodgers? And he goes, we're playing the Steelers. And they were like, well, all right, so you're just going to basically not talk to your team about it, and you just pretend it's not really a thing, and you're just going to go in there like, how do you approach it? And he goes, I don't know what you're talking about. We're going to play the Pittsburgh Steelers that just happen to have Aaron Rodgers. He goes, pretty much 90% of this team had never even played with the guy. Like, they never really have that, there's no sides that they need to pick or whatever. It's kind of a moot point. And he goes, you guys can go ahead and write your stories, and you can make it up to be a big thing. And I was really proud of him. He really did kind of type it down. He obviously went back and said, Aaron was a massive part of this organization, always will be. He's a Hall of Famer. That being said, it's another football game where we have to strap it up with our guys against their guys and just really tamped it down. And that's when I had to jump off. So I'm sure you could just look in his eyes. He does not want to hear any of this freaking clickbaity crap. He just wants to have these guys focus in, go play football, and come out of there with a W, hopefully.
Yeah. And Tim, dude, I got really irked today. I'm getting tired of waking up on a Victory Monday and putting on Green Bay Sports Talk to be like, all right, man, let's celebrate. And every damn host, whether it's Milwaukee, Madison, no matter where it is, boy, oh boy, do they find the negative spin somehow. And, I've shown a lot of respect to those guys. I really have. But I'm just about done with it. Because I mean, it's gotten to the point where you can just tell they're trying to feed the trolls, get them to call in and have them be overly negative. And that's the entire show. And I'm going, why? I literally got 1 hour into the program this morning. I won't say the specific program. I'm sure y'all can figure it out. And I love it too. I talk about it all the time, right? Try to promote it. I'm like, man, this is, I'll be damned, boy. I got about an hour in. I'm like, I can't do it anymore. Like, I'm feeling like we lost this game. I don't understand how you can view it through that lens. I just don't understand why people want to be miserable in that regard. I mean, you're one of 3 teams left, right? That are only 1-loss teams. And of course, the Detroit Lions are playing right now. It's just got kicked off. So they're playing the Buccaneers. So the Buccaneers are one of the other. It's the Colts, the Packers, and the Buccaneers all only had 1 loss, right? So, you're one of 3 teams that are at the top. And many people were saying you now have the best odds to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. And I turn on Sports Talk and all I hear is negative, 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 negative. There were people calling in. You guys will know who I'm talking about now because there was a specific conversation. A guy called in that plays blackjack and was talking about even though that 4th down pass worked, it was actually the wrong thing to do. And let me tell you why. And he gave this big blackjack analogy. And I'm going, you guys have never coached a game of football in your life. You probably never played a snap of football in your life. And you're trying to act like these analytic genius gurus that Matt LaFleur made the wrong decision to go for it in that spot. Now, I will
That's
say
so shocking to me because if you're a blackjack player, you should know the truth. And the truth is
scared money don't make money.
Exactly. Nice. So again, if it falls incomplete, I'm sure the fan base feels much different. But the fact that you're giving a platform to all those idiots that just want to constantly complain, and then we all sit back and go, why do these people complain so much? Because they're constantly getting a platform for it, right? And that's what feeds sports talk, right? It's just like the guy on ESPN Milwaukee. What did he say earlier this year? Jordan Love's injury prone. That's what he said. The dude played through 3 injuries last year. What do you mean he's injury prone? Like he played hurt all year, right? And then you had another guy, this fat, out of shape loser producer that you could tell he couldn't run a half mile if his life depended on it. And what did he do?
We're gonna give him some.
Get on there and said Romeo Dobbs was a coward last year. I'm going, boy, you wouldn't say that to his face, would you? And then you have a former Packer player going at Christian Watson's dad, basically making fun of him because he had a short stint in the league, right? And we all know what you got in trouble for there, dipshit. Excuse my language. Like, what are we even doing? How do you have a platform when you were accused of doing something so bad that I don't even want to mention it on my show, but you want to bash another former Packer player? You understand what I'm saying? And this is what we got to listen to every single day. This is what we got to tune into every single day if we want to hear Packers sports talk. It's wild. So I didn't have that in the show notes, obviously, but I felt my ears getting hot as I'm thinking about it. I'm just going, it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. So what I say is let's create a community here, right? Both on the show, in the chat, on Twitter, where we just call that crap out and start making them feel this freaking big. You know what I'm saying? Because it's embarrassing to the fan base. It really is. So anyway, yeah. Just don't. Everybody
took everything I had not to put it on the screen.
I am always the person, Jacob. Am I not always the person that says, hey, man, if he played in the league, I'm shutting hell up and listen, right?
Yeah.
But there's a handful of them. It's like, boy, I don't know what y'all are doing. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's just, I won't go down that same avenue necessarily. But again, Boz, just like you said, I woke up looking at freaking social media, and you would think that we lost by 40 points. And you would have thought that we don't have one of a top 5 quarterback in the league. You'd think that we didn't have a top 13 all-time winningest coach in the league. You'd think that we didn't have great defensive players. You'd think that we overspent on Micah Parsons. It's just unbelievable the amount of – and I can't tell if they're bots anymore, dude. I can't. Right. I want to believe that they are, to be honest with you, because I don't know where it happened, when it happened, but there was somewhere in like the late 90s. I'd say probably in the mid-2000s where all of a sudden a certain percentage of the fan base just decided to be – negative constantly, and it doesn't matter what you do. There's people that are still holding on to the Rodgers gripe. There's still people that are butthurt about Love coming in. There's people that are still mad that, I mean, it's just, you can't win with these guys. Literally, when you win, it's like you didn't win, and I'm done with it, dude.
And then when you lose, everybody's ass needs to be run out of the building.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
all while not being able to mention a single replacement candidate. They want to fire everyone.
Exactly.
Couldn't come up with a positive, forward-thinking solution to support their point, but they want to fire everyone. It's like we talked about with Tupac LaFleur yesterday, man. Making a gutsy move to go ahead and go for it there, putting the faith in that offense and Jordan Love on 4th down, and real quick, people will scream, "Oh, you should take the 3 points."
Mm-hmm.
What happened? We converted, right? And those same people would throw you under the bus if you didn't convert and say you should have took 3 points. Nobody's willing to call it like they see it and be true to the facts. They're willing to stick to their opinions because that's apparently paramount over anything else that's going on out here right now. And it's just sad. Like, at the end of the day, we got the dub. That's what we went to Arizona yesterday to do, was get a win. And that's exactly what we did. So I don't know how you can be upset with a victory. I don't get
that's the thing. I saw multiple clips of multiple podcasters of one watching in live time, mocking the fact that we were going to send Haversick out there to try a 60-plus yard field goal. And then, good, mocking the fact that we even went out there to line up on that 4th down, let alone convert it. And then afterwards pretending, really cool.
Right. Yeah. Now all of a sudden we're excited that we won, right? It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And the thing that got me, Jacob, is I heard people saying Matt LaFleur made the wrong decision. And then the same caller that called in on the show said, and even if you did think he made the right decision, he wasn't the one who made the decision. Jordan Love made the decision. No, he didn't. He said he sent the field goal unit on. He seen Jordan Love's face coming off the field and thought, that man's got conviction. It doesn't matter what play I call, he's going to make it happen. And he sent him back out there. That's what a great coach does. And people said, well, no, it's bad coaching if you allow your emotions and the emotion of your player to control the play call. It's like, at the end of the day, this is Bill Belichick 101. Players win them and coaches lose them. And I'm telling you, at the root of that saying, at the root of that quote, it's if you believe in your play, if your players believe in themselves and they believe in each other, then you should always give them the opportunity to go win the freaking game rather than play scared. And it's amazing how last week, all I'm hearing, Matt LaFleur's a coward. Matt LaFleur doesn't, he's not aggressive enough. He doesn't go for the throat, all those things. He goes for the throat, and then that side of the fan base comes in and just bashes. It's absolutely wild.
I like what Chris says here. He says, I think people are just flat out unhappy with their lives, and it comes out in their fandom amongst other places. I honestly that's a common, in my circle of friends and family and all that, the guys that kind of yell and just, scream at the sky and blah, blah, blah. There's some other stuff going on there, I'm telling you. So I don't know what it is, but
most of what's going on is not watching football.
Exactly.
Not watching a game more than once on a Sunday afternoon or evening, and just, getting caught up in the emotional buzz, basically.
And that's the perfect segue right there, Tim, not watching football. All right, let's just jump into the Rex Ryan comment on Jordan Love, okay? 21 seconds long, and then we're going to back it up with some stats to talk about why this guy's an idiot and he needs to get some better fake teeth. Here we go.
But Jordan Love, man, I got no love for Jordan Love, and I've never have. And why? Yes, he's got unbelievable ability, and we'll see some amazing plays from him. But at the end of the day, do I trust Jordan Love? No, I don't, because I think he's going to take – and he doesn't do it. Statistically, he says, oh, no, he doesn't turn the ball over. Oh, yes, he does. The biggest moments, he'll turn it over. Statistically,
it says he doesn't turn the ball over. Oh, yes, he does. All right, here, I got a stat for you.
Crackhead. They got hold to the wrong stuff.
Here, I got you a stat right here since Rex wants to talk about that. Here, look at GBP Daily, Rob Westerman coming in hot. Yes. Jordan Love in the fourth quarter over the last 3 games. This is his fourth quarter stats alone. 21 of 33, 233 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, a 119.0 passer rating. He hashtagged assassin. Could not agree more there. There was another stat I had here somewhere too, if I could find it. That was absolutely.
That's not when the game's on the line.
Yeah, exactly. So, the other thing. I quote tweeted. That's what it was in the tweet that I had shared that video from Get Up. I quote tweeted it and put Jordan Love has 10 passing touchdowns and 2 interceptions. What the hell are you talking about? He turns the ball over. Like last year, yeah, sure, you got something to talk about, right? This year, he has been lights out protecting the football. Like you're talking about 2 interceptions, 2. And he's got 10 touchdowns of that. You understand that, he's tracking what I don't even know what the ratio would be there, but you're going to throw 40 touchdown passes, right? And have 8 interceptions. or you're going to throw 30 touchdown passes and only 6 interceptions. Who would not take those stats as their starting quarterback? It's absolutely wild. So again, this kind of goes hand in hand with what we talked about just a second ago, and just kind of leading off with the fact that the media is just always going to be overly negative. They're going to try to find that spin to get people talking like we are right now. And it worked today. Boy, they put a quarter in me and they got their money's worth. That's for sure. But the other thing I wanted to point out here too, since the Packers are so bad, right, and Matt LaFleur is so bad at developing young players and his offense sucks and this and that, right? NFL tight ends who have at least 4 touchdowns this year, and they're also averaging 14 yards per reception. You got Tucker Kraft. That's the end of the list. He's the only tight end in the National Football League that has 4 touchdowns and is averaging over 14 yards per catch, according to NFL Pro Data, right? Matt LaFleur had nothing to do with that, right? Jordan Love had nothing to do with that. Who's his quarterback, right? Now Jordan Love stinks. It's just amazing. It's amazing how they talk out of both sides of the mouth. So anyway, that's the end of that rant. I'm done. I'm going to be in a good mood the rest of this time. You guys got anything else you want to add to the media, anything like that we just talked about?
Yeah, I should apologize for opening the show with saying Rex Ryan is a moron and an idiot. I should have more respect for a former NFL coach. So I'll just call him a dumbass. He's a dumbass.
There you go.
It's very pronounced Dumas. One thing I will say is that, just real quick, with that little blurb you put up about Tuck Norris, is a lot of people scoffed at me when not I personally, but like when a lot of Packer fans thought this dude can be one of the, if not the best tight end in the league. I mean, he's got obviously some big competition. We saw one of the best, in my opinion, Trey McBride, this last week. The guy is an absolute animal. Obviously, Kittle's a little banged up right now. But when he gets the ball in his hand, Tuck Norris, there is just, I really do believe him, where he thinks that no one can tackle him. He runs that way. His yak is that way. The way that he's willing to sacrifice his body to hit that goal line, it is something to behold. And I only wish I got a helmet right back here signed by 85. Unfortunately, it's Robert Tonyan 85. I'm going to scratch that out, and I'm going to do my best kind of forged job and try to see if I can mimic a Tucker Kraft signing, because that's my true tight end right there. I think if I get a jersey, I got to be getting me a Tuck Norris jersey, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Let's go.
All right, let's hit this video real quick. Packers tweeted this out. To the best of my knowledge, it's not on YouTube. We should be good to play it. No music attached either. Just a little victory cam, about 20 seconds long. The guys coming down the tunnel after getting this dub. Think about how the local, like the Green Bay sports media, and we'll just say the Wisconsin sports media, is responding to this game and how they're reacting to it. Like it's, oh, well, it ain't a big deal, this and that. And look at these players. Look how much this win meant to the youngest football team in the National Football League.
Kobe Wooden leading it off. Let's go.
Got the dub. You know what they say cheese. Go.
Cowboys too.
Out for the faint of heart.
Go, Pat, go.
Stack.
Love it. So again, you wonder why. And I think the reason I got so fired up just a second ago, Jacob, is because you let it off with Matt LaFleur getting snippy with the media. He's probably fed up with it, man. He's probably gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm just sick of this stuff. I'm done with it,
Sit your butt outside.
And on top of that, I thought this was really cool, as someone had tweeted out, and he actually covers the Arizona Cardinals. I checked there. He said, #AZ Cardinals quarterback Jacoby Brissett told reporters the offense was on a silent count the whole day.
At home.
There were so many Packer fans in Arizona that the Arizona offense had to play on a silent count, Tim. A silent count at home.
Shout out to those Wisco snowbirds down there in AZ. Wisconsin family has deep roots down in Arizona. I'm sure there were some locals down there that were Packer fans as well. Plus the fans that travel, from all over the world. We got the best fan base in the NFL. Absolutely. It was a home game on the road. I love it. Yeah.
Jacob, anything you want to add to that? Man, I thought that was awesome, dude. It kind of caught me off guard a little bit. It shouldn't, but it did.
Yeah, like Bates says here loud there. I said that possibly could be a difference maker, just because I remember in years prior that, and like we talked about how Dallas Stadium is kind of like Green Bay or Lambeau South, right? Like this is, like I said before the game, it was Lambeau Southwest, and they showed up, and it was funny because like I could hear "Go Pack Go" chants as I'm watching live on the TV, and I'm thinking like, am I crazy? Like, am I actually hearing this? And Sure enough, I mean, like you said, right from Brissett's mouth. And I will say real quick, just because I've seen a lot of comments too, if Kyler Murray was playing, it'd be a different story. And I'm like, nah, I think you got the best Cardinals team coming out with Jacoby Brissett, honestly, just because of where he played a damn good football game. And he's a good quarterback. He's been through the league. Yeah,
Yep.
he's steady Eddie, as I say, man. I would totally love to have that guy on my squad. God forbid something happens to your starter. So
yeah, I seen it coming through on the chat, and it just hit live on mine. I'm on YouTube TV. Jared Goff just gets a strip sack, so Buccaneers get the ball back. The Lions are leading 7-0 currently. We'll continue to give y'all updates throughout the game if you guys are at work. Probably the greatest compliment we got as a show was a few weeks ago when we did a live stream where we were just covering some games, and the guy was like, "Man, I'm stuck at work, and y'all are keeping me up to date in real time. I appreciate it." So that was pretty cool. But yeah, so the Bucs did recover that fumble, and it looks like his hand was definitely not going forward, right? I'm assuming you guys have already seen it didn't get overturned, so that's good news. All right, let's move along to Bucky Brooks's top 10 rankings, okay? I thought this was cool. You guys don't know who Bucky Brooks is. He played for a short stint with the Packers. I'm sure Mark Chimura thinks he's a bum too, just because he didn't play as long as him in the league, right? But anyway, he's also a scout, one of the head scouts for the Baltimore Ravens back in the day as well. Him and Daniel Jeremiah did some scouting. He actually got into scouting because Ron Wolf told him to. So Ron Wolf helped him get into the scouting game. And of course, that's trickled into sports media. Bucky Brooks is one of the best to do it, man. Love listening to his
So in other words, someone who actually knows ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go.
So this is ahead of Monday Night Football, obviously, but this is Fox Sports NFL writer Bucky Brooks' top 10 rankings. Number 1, Tampa Bay, who's playing right now and losing to the Lions. Number 2, the Indianapolis Colts, who won again this weekend. Number 3, the Philadelphia Eagles. And number 4, your Green Bay Packers. Rounding it out, you got number 5, New England Patriots. 6, the LA Rams. 7, the Buffalo Bills. 8, the Denver Broncos. 9, the San Francisco 49ers. And number 10 on the list is the Chicago Bears. So he actually has the Packers in the number 4 spot. And as the third best team in the NFC, I see some people that think the Packers are the top team in the NFC. I'm not quite there. I kind of feel like it's Tampa right now, me personally. I do feel like the Packers have a better, well-rounded team than the Philadelphia Eagles. But I want to get your all's take on it. What do y'all think of that list there? And I know some people will see the Bears at number 10 and get a little surprised. They've won 4 in a row now, I think, right? 3 or 4 in a row. They're looking good. They really are. They're looking better anyway.
They're on a heater with Mr. Get Ready to Go right now. We can't afford to take that lightly. And, towards the end of the season, we've got a crazy stretch where we got one at home against the Bears. Then we got to go to Denver, and then we got to come back on the road and play the Bears in Chicago. So, you can't afford to take anyone lightly. But I will say this. I agree with the sentiment that, some fans think the Packers could be in that 3 spot, maybe that 2 spot on this list, maybe that 1 or 2 spot in the NFC right now. I feel like if we beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh this Sunday, I think we have a legitimate argument for that, conversation. But right now at this point, I think Bucky Brooks has got it spot on right here. I would agree with this list based on what we're seeing right now currently, not how we feel, not what teams' records are, what we're seeing right now in the NFL. This looks like a pretty legit top 10 list.
Yeah, and Jacob, Chicago being at number 10, I think I agree with Jerry. I believe I still see Detroit as a better football team than Chicago, me personally. Yeah. But I want to know what you think there too, man.
I completely agree with that. I think the Bears are enjoying a little bit of a I don't want to say easy schedule because I feel like that it's the National Football League. We talk about that every week. Each week's a new matchup, a new, any given Sunday type mentality. I just think that they've been maybe getting a little bit of luck swinging their way. I think the pendulum's going to swing back, and I believe that the Chicago Bears will end up showing their naked booty for what they are. I think that they're still cheeks. That being said, I think Detroit definitely deserves to be up here a little higher. I honestly I shouldn't say still, but I'm starting to think that Philly is more of kind of a paper tiger at this point. Not saying they're not good, but I mean, as a man that has Saquon Barkley on my freaking fantasy team, it's been pretty rough there. It seems like that they rely on Jalen Hurts kind of making some outrageously large, big throws and big times. I'm very surprised with Indiana and New England, but I think that they've shown now that they are for real. And Tampa Bay is Tampa Bay, and I really do think that depending on what happens tonight, they deserve that number 1 spot. But I think the Packers, like Tim said, if we go into Pittsburgh, we handle our business. We leave there with, even if it's a win, win's a win. But if it's in any kind of convincing win, I think we're right there at number 1, number 2.
Got it. Love it. All right, so let us know in the comments if you're watching this video back later and not on the live stream. Let us know what you think about that top 10 for Bucky Brooks. Do you think the Packers are good at number 4? Do you think they're too high? Do you think they're too low? Talk to us in there. We appreciate y'all.
I'm sure we'll get more comments on whether or not Chicago. There's a bunch of comments rolling in right now about Chicago being there.
And again, I know they got an easy schedule too, but you can only play the schedule in front of you. And the thing about that, I'll tell you who it reminds me of a little bit, and I'm going to be honest, other than their defense being absolute trash, their defense is bad. It's really bad, right? But it kind of reminds me of how the 2010 Packers won games. You know what I mean? It was just like you do just enough to kind of scrape by, and next thing you know, you get hot going into the playoffs and you go on a run. I'm not saying the Bears.
You don't say that.
Because, again, the Bears' defense is nothing like the Packers' defense that year. They had the number 1 defense in the league, if I remember correctly. So, and speaking of number 1 defense in the league, boy, oh boy, am I glad Micah Parsons is a Green Bay Packer. Kurt McGirt, man. Kurt McGirt, go easy in there on everybody. He says, like the stream, you bums. We don't have to call them bums, but thank you for reminding everybody. Just hit that like button. We greatly appreciate it for sure. It helps boost the algorithm and lets other people know this show might not suck. And then they can come in here, watch live, and go, this show sucks. And they can just go on about their day. But we get a view. You know what I mean? That's the way it works. So, all right. Jordan Love's IG story. Thought it was awesome. He posted this picture of him and Micah Parsons coming off the field there in Arizona. Looks like might have been some kind of jersey swap there, too. As you see, Jordan looks like he's carrying a Cardinals jersey, I'm guessing. But
is that Harrison Jr.?
It may be. I don't know. I do know this, though. I love the fact that these two guys their arms are just locked, right? You could tell this. I'm going to say this, and I know I'm going to catch a little hell for it. I am not saying Micah Parsons is Reggie White, okay? I am not saying Jordan Love is Brett Favre, but Reggie and Brett kind of had that, if you'll remember, Reggie said in his presser, he saw Brett play the year before, and he wanted to come play with Brett Favre. That's one of the deciding factors, right? And I love the fact that Micah and Jordan, they already had kind of this friendship outside of, him playing for Dallas and obviously Jordan playing for Green Bay. It's really, really cool to see these two lock arms, Tim. This kind of feels, it has that same type of feel, of that 96 team. I keep coming back to that. This doesn't feel like the 2010 Packers. Everything I know about the 96 team, it kind of feels more like that. You got an elite edge rusher, right? Or defensive lineman, I should say. You've got a couple other guys on that defensive line that are really, really huge, intricate parts of getting pressure as well. Like kind of like a Rashawn Gary would be to say maybe a Vonnie Holiday or somebody like that, right? That were just key contributor players. I can't remember, was Sean, who was the other edge defender? I think he might have been on that 96 team. Sean, what was his name? Somebody in the chat will have it.
I thought it was Santana Dotson, wasn't it?
Yes, Santana Dotson. Did he play?
Yeah, he would have been on that team.
On the same defensive line? Did he play defensive line? I don't know.
I thought it was Gilbert, Santana.
Oh, yeah, get it here in a minute. Sean Jones. There it is, Holmes.
Sean
Jones.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. So, again, I'm just saying, like, that's what it feels like to me, Tim. And I love the fact that these two guys are lockstep like this, man.
Yeah, really, like, to me, it's, think of QB1 and going against Micah. We remember the boat race game a couple years ago in Dallas, right? I think it's that mutual respect that quarterbacks tend to have for these defensive players, being on opposite sides of the ball. I think about Brett Favre and Warren Sapp, going at it back in the day, and there was always kind of a little rivalry, but there was a mutual respect there. And then, you get on the same team with a guy like this that you've competed against. There's that respect there, and you guys want to pick each other up. And I think every quarterback one in the NFL's got their favorite guy on the defensive line or the edge room that he kind of is drawn to. And you see that chemistry with not just Jordan and Micah, but really Micah and a lot of guys on the offensive side of the ball. And it builds cohesiveness as a unit, and it's something to be proud of, really. I mean, we were kind of concerned about Micah before the trade was, finalized, thinking like, oh God, is this going to be a problem here? And he's had nothing but a great attitude and has really fit the mold of being the Green Bay Packers since he touched down. And we're seeing him just take off right now, really hitting his stride. We're not talking about him missing training camp anymore after what we saw yesterday, for sure. So a lot to be excited about with Micah.
Yeah. Pac-Man 44 says the 96 D-line, Reggie White, Brown, Santana, Dotson, and Jones.
Dayton Jones, let's go.
Dayton Jones. Sean Jones with them in there. Got excited about Dayton back in the day.
You already know.
So yeah, hey, listen, Gilbert Brown too, man. What a fun competitor. He was great to watch. So
Tim, did you ever get a Gilbert burger?
No.
Do you know what those are?
I do have a vintage Gilbert Burger King poster though.
I was gonna say he was literally the Burger King.
I was gonna say, man, you could probably have a vintage Gilbert burger that just set in the cabinet and it just stays preserved. All the videos of people that do that stuff with McDonald's, they'll take a cheeseburger, put it in the cabinet for 6 years, and open it back up, and it looks like the day you bought it. It's unbelievable the preservatives there. But anyway, that's the story for today.
The grave digger, like Holmes says, for sure.
Thick.
Right. Micah Parsons. All right, let's continue this conversation. Rob Westerman with this tweet. Micah Parsons is currently the favorite to win NFL Defensive Player of the Year per Polymarket Sport. The odds, Micah Parsons, 36%. Nick Bonito, 30%. Pat Surtain, 28.5%. And Josh Hines Allen at 27.4%. That's a wild statistic there, boys, as we see Micah Parsons. That's a pretty good little lead there, 6% lead on the second-place guy. Obviously, 3 sacks will do that for you, right? And I think it's awesome, too, that was the first time in Micah's career he's had 3 sacks in one game. Just something else that you can rub in Cowboys fans' faces. Like, what were y'all doing wrong down there, man? He's already gotten 3-sack game here, So let's talk about that, though. What do you think the chances of Micah winning Defensive Player of the Year? Not that it really matters. But I just kind of like keeping tabs on the market just to kind of see the odds and these type of things.
I think it would be clutch if a edge defender won it, period. Be awesome if it was Micah Parsons. Patrick Surtain is, we know what he brings to the table, and this is just one, whatever this is, Polymarket Sportsbook or whoever's making these odds, but it'd be awesome to get a Defensive Player of the Year out of Green Bay again. It's been a while. We're due.
Yeah. Drew D's point here is Parsons has a narrative to win that, and I want to say that shouldn't matter. It definitely does. When you help with because what is it? Is it the same type of people that do like the AP voting?
I was just going to say, is Defensive Player of the Year the same as MVP? Is that the writer AP?
I think it is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is the Associated Press. I'm almost positive that's how that works.
So we know the narrative goes a long way with those type of people.
Yeah, it does. But I mean, that being said, I feel like he's definitely earning it. And this is him, I think, being, we kind of stopped talking about whether or not he was got his win back, whether or not he got his conditioning back, whether or not he's came into the playbook over the last 2-3 weeks. But we have to remember, now, we're seeing maybe the fact that he is actually up to speed. He is up to speed, literally and figuratively. He has his conditioning underneath him. He now knows the playbook a little more. He's trusting his fellow linemen, his linebackers, everybody else. He's trusting the system. Hafley has more trust in him to maybe let him go a little more. I will say I am still somewhat frustrated sometimes when I see him and Gary not on the field. It's I would want us to maybe tailor a way where they're both, at least one of them's on the field. You know what I mean? If you got to start giving them breaks here and there, I understand that. I love Kingsley. I love Sorrell. I like the amount that we saw from Sorrell, but I want us to utilize. I mean, you look at the Max Crosby of the world, and they're out there playing damn near, 100%. Not that I want him to do that or think it's beneficial for that necessarily, but I do want to see, let's get our money's worth here. We see what we can put him out there. He gets, who knows if he has maybe 3, 4, 5 more snaps in this game, does he have 4 sacks? Who knows?
I like what Eric says here. Wait, Parsons has an 80-year-old back and can't defend the run. He's a horrible locker room guy. Don't forget. Make sure you guys remember.
Yeah, it's hilarious, dude. Absolutely hilarious. So here is another statistic that got tweeted out by Jacob Morley, just kind of giving everybody an update on the pressures from the Cardinals game. All right, total pressures versus Arizona. And again, this is PFF. Take it for what you want. Again, go watch the tape yourself and you tally up the pressures. It's what PFF had logged. In that one game, Micah Parsons, 8 pressures. Quay Walker, 5 pressures. Carl Brooks, 5 pressures. Rashawn Gary with 4 pressures. Kobe Wooden with 3. Kingsley Enagbare with 2, and Evan Williams had 1 on that safety blitz. So, again, when you look at that, I mean, how many, what is that there? Let me do the math here real quick. It's 18, 22, 25, 27, 28 pressures, if I'm reading that correctly.
Is that good?
Yeah. And listen, it's another testament to Jacoby Brissett standing in there tall and making the throws when he had to, right? Because a good chunk of those, obviously, we didn't hit home on, right, Jacob? So you're affecting the pass. So you're affecting, the passing game itself. Those hits start to really add up by the end of the game. And I'm telling you, man, that Gary strip sack, that's another thing that pissed me off today. And I want to give a shout out to Steve on Twitter. I think he's in the comments on this right there. Steve Cook. We were messaging earlier today, and he was like, man, every sports talk show that I listen to, right? And same here. Every one of them, they would briefly mention the turnover that we created, but they didn't mention Rashawn Gary's name one time when mentioning that turnover. Now, why is that? Is Clayton being a conspiracy theorist here? Or could it be
drop?
Could it be
Stupid copyright crap.
All last year, they dogged Rashawn Gary and made it sound like he's just absolute trash. And then he gets a Pro Bowl nod, right? He gets voted the Pro Bowl. He's the best run defending edge defender in the game, right? We have one of the best run defenses in the game. And, that Pro Bowl doesn't mean anything. Okay, cool. Comes out this year, he's leading the Packers in sacks. It's still, even with Micah Parsons, 3 sacks, Gary's still tied for the lead because he got that strip sack yesterday for Packers, leading in sacks. And that's why they won't mention it, because they can't stand the fact that they might be wrong. There's one on ESPN Milwaukee that I'm telling you, man, he thinks he's God's gift to Packer fans, like he knows everything. And boy, oh boy, does he get awful quiet when Rashawn Gary has a game. And then the second that Micah Parsons isn't getting any pressure, he's getting double teamed or whatever, Gary's got to do his part. He's got to do his part. Gary has done his part and more.
And then
he's getting paid half of what Micah Parsons is getting paid, which is worth mentioning as well. This isn't the dog Micah Parsons. It's just a point that put some respect on Rashawn Gary's. All he does is keep his mouth shut, and he comes out and plays good football. That's what he does. And
he's a leader of men on that field too.
Yes,
that.
Damn right.
And I'll say this, Jacob. I want to get your take. Something else Steve said was like, it's almost, I'm kind of putting Steve on blast here. I apologize, Steve. But it's kind of like, almost like he pissed the media off in the locker room. Mm-hmm. And this is their way of kind of getting back. Because you notice you don't ever see any exclusive interviews with Gary. It's very rare you see him sit down and give an in, because he's all about ball. That's it. There's nothing wrong with that. So anyway.
No, I completely agree. It doesn't fit their narrative that they painted in previous years. And obviously then coming in, Micah Parsons is going to steal some of that thunder, most of the thunder, the spotlight. I just think it's been very, very impressive to what Gary has done, obviously on the field. But like you said, off the field, I haven't felt no hint of jealousy, no hint of any sort of like animosity for the fact that he maybe isn't getting the interviews that a guy of his caliber should get. We saw it on his draft night. The guy bawled his eyes out. And I mean that with no hate or making fun whatsoever. Like, you could tell that he loves football. He was blessed to be put on this earth to play football. He understands that. And I think that he understood what it meant, the gravity of him coming to a team like Green Bay, and him to actually put that on paper now, multiple years of being, like you said, if the best run defender last year on that edge position. You add a guy now like Parsons in the locker room. We've seen now what these guys, when they're playing at their best, can do as a compliment to each other. And I will remind you guys this: we still have LVN, who's been out of here. My boy Cox, once we get him unholstered, he's going to be firing off the line like crazy. You know what I mean? I mean, that's honest to God, with Sorrell, with LVN coming back. If we do have a guy like Kingsley getting in there with the best rotation, we may have the best rotating edge group by far in the National Football League. And that's exactly what you need as you are going down the stretch.
Yeah, our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before. So.
Everybody double check this, but Holmes says Cox is on IR and can return by week 7 as far as he knows. So somebody wants to double check that. It sounds like he's pretty confident in that. So that's great news, obviously. So
I can't wait to get Cox back out there.
I bet you can, Jacob. Tim, anything else you want to add to the
read my mind, Clayton. I was going to say the same thing.
I love what Pac-Man says. No, you wouldn't. You liar. Gary is a locker room and team leader. Amen to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the statement that Jacob made is so true. He's all ball all the time. I mean, that guy wakes up and eats footballs for breakfast every morning. You can tell. And he demands that, much like we see the leadership from guys like Tucker Kraft and Josh Jacobs, workhorses, guys that lead by example. We saw Josh in the locker room yesterday, talking about, hey, I can't look you guys in the eye if I don't give it my all. And we know Rashawn is that dude as well. And so not to mention that, you can be upset about the contract all you want. I feel like, it's basically a team friendly deal at this point, the output and the leadership that we get from Bane Gary. So, you Rashawn haters can, kiss both my cheeks, just like you Quay Walker haters can kiss both my cheeks.
So, all right, that broke me up. So the other thing I'll say about that too is they're just regurgitating what they heard. They hear the total contract, they tallied up per year and go, he's getting paid this much per year. And then you look at the cap hits, and the cap hits were 11 million, 17 million, 25 million, right? And now it's, now you got to pay for it. No, you don't. The guaranteed money's gone. You can move on if you want to. Now you got to make the decision on whether you want that guy on your roster or not, right? That's what it comes down to. So again, that's how Goody and Russ Ball make that always work. United Bates says, talking about Cox, he could have returned this week against the Cards, but he still hasn't been activated off the IR, so he's good to go once he is healthy, obviously. Deadfish says, Green Bay is a great place for guys that like to play football. Amen. There's nothing else going on, right? As we get ready to wrap up, obviously hour one here, we'll just end it with 2-0 for this is comment. He says, good evening tonight, everyone. Goodness, I check in, and the first thing I hear is Jacob saying, Cox back out there. So there you go. That's what you get with this particular program, Steve.
Guilty.
Yeah. That's going to do it for hour one. For those of you listening on the pod, we'll see you on the other side for hour two. We're going to break down the PFF grades from week 7 against the Arizona Cardinals. We appreciate y'all.
For those of you listening on the pod,
welcome into hour 2. Let's get into it, boys. PFF grades. And let's start off with the team grades real quick and kind of see how they fared. And again, always going to give this disclaimer. I know people are tired of hearing it, but I'm always going to do it. These are PFF grades. It doesn't mean it's the gospel. I like looking at PFF grades. I like looking at the NFL Pro data. I like watching the tape and kind of take everything and throw it in a pot, and it gives you the real story on what happened each and every Sunday. So the Packers overall grade, a 71.0. Offense got a 60.3. The defense got a 72.4. I think that kind of catches people off guard a little bit. You would think the defense played really bad, right? But
based on the nonsense you heard from talking heads, you would believe that.
Exactly. So passing grade 58.4, pass blocking 81.9, receiving grade of 63.1, running grade of 63.6, run blocking grade of 45.9. On defense, run defense grade 76.4, tackle grade of 73.9, pass rush grade of 73.8, coverage grade of 64.6, special teams grade of 63.9. Boy, you ain't heard much about Fire Rich Bisaccia here lately, have we?
No, we really haven't. And if we have heard anything, we try to let it go in one ear and out the other, right? Because we know the truth. We know what Rich is doing, and it's so much more than just special teams, right? What he brings to the organization and the value and leadership that he brings. And honestly, I think these past couple of games we're starting to turn the corner when it comes to teams, right? We see a 45-5, 38-5 prior. The last 2 weeks we've been well above 60, and we'll take that all day. So you got to give credit when credit's due. You can't just bash the guy whenever we struggle. You've got to call it like you see it. And I will say this with PFF, special teams grades usually seem to be pretty much on par with what we've seen out on the field. We can question some of these other breakdowns sometimes, but the special teams grade is kind of cut and dry. And the tail is in the tape. Good start. We kind of plateaued, and now we're getting back on track here, grading above 60s, which I've always said special teams, when you have the talent pool that we have, you're going to have starters out there playing special teams. You've got a stacked roster with a lot of young talent, and I don't care if we're not a top 10 or top 15 special teams unit as long as we're not a dumpster fire, and that's what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, I love what Drew D says too, Tim. Look how the pass blocking is getting better every week. Like when you look at the pass blocking, 65, 70, 15, 67, 78, 81. So it's improved 3 weeks in a row now.
Yep.
That's a great sign. Also, the run defense grade has been pretty solid here lately too. A 79, then a 76 yesterday. Same thing with the tackle grade. Tackle grade has gone up 3 weeks in a row as well. Looks like
we had another good game out of Jordan Morgan again. Be interesting to see what PFF had him at. He looked pretty good out there yesterday.
Let's dive into it, man. Let's see if we can figure out who were the top graded Green Bay Packers in this matchup against the Arizona Cardinals. Trying to get it zoomed in as much as I can for you guys and gals. So at the top of the list, Tim, even though he's still battling that oblique injury, 74.3 for Zach Tom. All right. You had Rasheed Walker at a 72.1, Josh Jacobs at a 71.2, Matthew Golden, boys and girls, 67.1. Let's go. Romeo Dobbs, 65.8. Aaron Banks had a pretty good day, 65.5. Pass blocking grade of 83.9. Wow. Tucker Kraft, 65.1. So he's looking pretty solid there, 70.4 in the passing game. It was his run blocking that really dinged his grade quite a bit there at a 46.2. Emmanuel Wilson, 60.7. Chris Brooks, 58.2. Elton Jenkins, 55.1. So that's kind of the tough thing to see there. What's wild is the Jordan Love stuff, right? He got graded a 53.5.
Whatever.
I'm looking at that going, I'm trying to think, what was his worst pass of the day? I can't think of, there's not one that sticks out to me, you know? Like you could find one the previous game where he was graded much higher and you got the interception as a boneheaded throw right there, right? Yep. So that's just pretty wild to me that he graded out a 53.5. Based off what I've seen, I would definitely disagree with that grade. Again, I thought he played pretty good football. I thought he played the offense, the hand he was dealt, and did pretty well. So yeah. Go ahead, Jake.
Nothing. You know what kind of pops off the page to me is Jordan Morgan way down there at 17th with a total overall of 34.8. But look at the pass blocking grade.
That's why I thought he would have graded out better. I felt like he looked really good in the pass.
And I've heard Ryan. I've listened to Ryan for years now. Gosh, almost 8 years, I think. And as much as he loves PFF, he will call them out when he's like, how does this, if you get a 76.7, average it out with, even if the run blocking is 27.3, like that to me, that's not a happy medium. The math don't meet. Yeah, the math don't math there, buddy. And that's just,
I like what Drew D's saying though. Oh, it's the 2 fumbles, but even though we lost neither of them, right?
Right.
We had a Jordan took a shot and was able to recover his own fumble. I don't understand why that would knock him that low on his PFF grade.
Yeah. Chester Marco in the chat. Our Chester Marco, not the Chester Marco. I think he's still in the clink.
Do a little tooting.
Jenkins looked gassed out there last night, he said. Did you guys feel like that? I didn't really pay much attention to Elton Jenkins. I do know this. He doesn't look – it looks like his best football is behind him, and it's kind of looked like that the last couple of years to me. And I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But did y'all feel like he looked a little gassed last night or no?
Yeah, a little bit.
I think it's fair to say that.
And I think the grade on him is probably fair. But again, 71.3 in the pass pro, that's what we need out of Big E.
J. Cole 249 says, remember, these are Uber drivers grading players. Great point. All right, let's look at them on the season real quick, okay? So you got Zach Tom, right, on the year. So his grade so far, 65, 60, 65, 60, 75, and 74. So his grade now on the season is showing a 76 currently. So throughout his career, Zach Tom, 68, 79, 85, 76. Keep in mind he's battling the oblique injury right now. So I thought that was very, very encouraging seeing him grade out of 74.3, just pretty solid across the board. Rasheed Walker got a 72.1. He did have a penalty there. So when you look at him on the season, this, according to PFF, that was his best game of the year, boys. 63, 69, 34, 64, 68, 72. So maybe he's turning the corner now and getting back up there where he should be, which last year he graded out a 68.7. This makes a lot of sense as to why they haven't given him a contract extension, right? It's just one of those things. He's going to get overpaid on the market, right, Tim? Like he's going to hit free agency and get paid a ton of money, and that's money that I don't think the Packers are willing to pay him, at least at this point.
And I think it speaks to why we're seeing the numbers and the increase in output that we're seeing, because he knows Jordan Morgan's breathing down his neck for that left tackle spot. And, we're not going to knock Sheed. He's going to give us the best he can while he's here. But I would agree with you. It's just, at this point, I think we're looking for a little bit more consistency there, especially if we're talking long-term plan, protecting QB1's blind side. So I think the writing's kind of on the wall, but I wouldn't put it past Rasheed Walker to make it real difficult on the Packers brass to make a decision here when it comes to his output on the field this season. There's a lot of football left, so we'll see.
If we were to try to find the positive here on Rasheed Walker, Jacob, I like what Debfish says. Walker does not get hurt. That dude really never misses a snap, does he?
Yep.
It is. Yeah, he's as a consistent Iron Man as any. I will go on record saying I have never understood the need or the emphasis to try to replace Walker. I think it's because I'm such a cheapskate. We got him in the 7th round. I thought that the PFF grades don't necessarily jump off the page, and unless you look at the pass blocking grades in there, I would argue they actually do. This last year, like you said, obviously he's kind of working through some stuff. I think that grade will improve if he has the snaps. In my opinion, I feel like that we should be looking to improve the offensive line in other spots first. But I understand left tackle. You always want to try to have that be, if not the anchor, one of the best positions that you can count on that offensive line. I just am a sucker for him. I'll always kind of have his back just because, like I said, I'm a bargain bin guy. Getting him in the 7th round, the way that he likes to, quote unquote, finish players off is he just always holds near to my heart, man. The guy is
He can block.
Holmes says it's because you don't have to pay him. Exactly, dude. I'm telling you. But like you said, I mean, much like John Runyon, he's going to go somewhere and get the bag, and
he will. Yeah, I believe that. He's got the measurables. He's got a whole lot of tape out there, and I'm sure just like every other team, that when they go to sign a free agent, hey, we can make them better, right?
Do you think it's possible that we still sign him, like Drew says here?
He says, Drew says it is certainly possible that we re-sign Walker for the right price. Yeah, and I try to put myself in their shoes, Drew. What would that contract look like, right? So if I'm Rasheed Walker and I've already rolled the dice, we're in week 7, and you're already risking getting hurt, right? And now your value is probably going down every week based off how you're playing in the Packers' eyes. So if they have offered a contract, which to the best of my knowledge, we haven't got that confirmed yet. There were reports of it. If you guys have confirmation, let me know. It's just, what amount would you be willing to pay him? Yeah. And the other thing is, when you talk about the blueprint, when you're modeling the roster out, what lineman are you going to pay? You paid Zach Tom, right? You can get Elton Jenkins off the books next year if you want to. Okay. You paid Aaron Banks, which he can come off the books fairly early too, if you want to go that route, the way that's structured, much like Nate Hobbs. And of course you got Jordan Morgan as a 1st round pick. So I think you're willing to pay 2 linemen top money, maybe 3. And as it sits right now, you basically got to make a decision, right? So if you're going to have to pay Rasheed Walker $20 million plus per year, I just can't get on board with it. I think Jordan Morgan can do what Rasheed Walker does at left tackle based off the few snaps we've seen him there. That's just me personally, and based off the college tape where he played left tackle. So
plus
again,
you're going to need money in the budget for a center too, long term.
All right. Yeah. And last week we were singing the praises of Jordan Morgan, right? He graded out well at right guard, and you guys know I was very vocal going into that game that, hey, I feel like he's truly a left side of the line top offensive lineman. Well, here we are 1 game later, and he graded out bad, right? So, and again, there was no rotation there. Sean Ryan did not rotate to the best of my knowledge. So, 73, 41, 40, 67, 69, and 34 are Jordan Morgan's grades. So you're seeing he's been bad according to PFF just as much as he's been what we would consider good, right? So
I like what Fishy Things is saying here in the chat. If it comes down to it, I'm giving Quay a contract before Sheed.
And I think
that's a fair statement.
That's the type of conversations you got to have, right, Tim? Because you can't keep everybody. You got to kind of prioritize players. Like, you got a list of players whose contracts are running out. Okay, who's the top priority, right? And you guys know how I look at it by specific positions, right? Edge and 3 tech, and on defense, those are your top priorities. On offense, it's quarterback and tackle, right? And then you move on to tier 2, right? Tier 2 would be, Mike backer, stack backer, 1 stack backer. I'd be willing to pay top money to, and a post safety. And obviously those guys rotate a lot now, move up in the box in the spur position from time to time. And then on offense, the only tier 2 position I really have on offense is center. I feel like center is that important. I really do.
And I think if you look at the output, that you're getting from Quay as a middle linebacker versus, to your point, what you're getting with Rasheed Walker, not a knock on Rasheed Walker at all, but you got to feel like your 1st round draft pick, Jordan Morgan, can step into that role and continue to protect J Money's blind side. So I think that's why I would go with Fishy Things there. And I would probably take Quay over Sheed if it was down to those 2 who's getting a contract.
Yeah. And I see people in the chat saying they would keep Rasheed Walker. Like, I think that's trying to think of who that
Chuck,
was.
That's Chuck Jagger's saying.
Chuck
Now
Jagger,
he's the Bears sucker.
He's trying to mess with us. I'm keeping Walker. They're both Walkers.
Hey.
Clay and Sheed. So we got to clarify.
By the way, now we can't say his name because it's the yeah. Well, no, because we can. We have to be very careful.
I'm
Bears
not
so faking much. Thanks for doing that, Chris or Chuck. Thanks a lot.
Over here,
Can I pose a scenario to you? And obviously, this would never be able to be realistic unless you had a crystal ball and you could understand. Do you think that it would have been smarter if about a year ago you see the writing on the wall that Sheed necessarily isn't going to be a top 3, left tackle, but you want him to maybe be in the team scenario for the next maybe 3 to 4 years? You offer him a team friendly deal, him as a 7th rounder, not quite ready to hit the market. You keep Elton at left guard. You extend Myers for a 2-year type prove it contract, and then you fluctuate with whatever you have at right guard. Obviously, Tom's Tom. Do you see us being in a better position if we decided to go that route rather than throwing a bunch of bank at Banks, throwing Elton to center, playing the musical chairs with the left guard and right guard positions?
For me, we don't know what Banks is yet.
Yeah.
Right. We know who Goody thinks he is. The contract says it. Right. So Aaron Banks has been hurt this entire time, and he's trying to get everything going. Well, I would argue this is the first game where you feel like, okay, he's fully healthy, right? This is a first game where you go in and go, okay, to the best of my knowledge, he was on the injury report, but I didn't go into this week going, Aaron Banks still a little banged up. So it's like, okay, what do we have? He graded out a 65. Right, pass blocking grade. That Goody's always going to prioritize that.
Is there any way, Clayton, are you able to bring up Josh Myers' current PFF grade as well as John Runyon's and just?
I can look it up on another screen here and tell you what it is for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Just because I just am curious because as I'm sitting here talking out of my butt, maybe it was clearly the right move to move on from those guys. Drew D saying I can't swallow the Myers pill. I understand it's a large pill. That is a horse pill to swallow, and I never thought I'd ever even be on the devil's advocate of making that argument. I'm just saying.
And nobody's going to badmouth Josh on this pod. We know that guy is a stand-up dude, a great teammate, but I'm with Drew D. I don't think that was the move. I really don't. I'm glad. I know what you're saying, Jacob, like putting Elton in as this plug-and-play kind of center because we know he can
just
handle
assuming
it.
That, he'd
be. And based on what we've seen thus far this year, I guess underwhelming would be the best way to sum it up, I guess, from a fan standpoint. But I certainly think if we rolled the dice again with old Josh, we'd be having a lot more podcasts talking about center play than we are.
Cole, J. Cole's talking about how the Jets line isn't good, and I believe Runyon, did he go to the Giants or the Philly? Giants.
Runyon went to the Giants, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I've got the grades for you. You ready for this, Jacob?
Yeah.
So Elton Jenkins is a 59.9 on the year. Okay. Josh Myers is a 59.0.
Jeez.
Right.
Okay.
Now, pass blocking grade, Elton is a 71.3. Josh Myers is a 56.3.
Gotcha.
Okay.
That's terrible.
Run blocking grade, Elton is a 58.2. Josh Myers is a 53.2. So every grade across the board, Elton Jenkins is significantly better than Josh Myers, right? And, okay, let's look at penalties. Josh Myers so far this year has committed 4 penalties. Elton Jenkins has only committed 2. So Elton's beating him in every category. However, when we let Josh Myers walk, and I don't even know if this was an option, but you guys will remember if you go back and watch the show, I said I think Myers is going to warrant pretty good money on the market because he's a very physical. He's got all the measurables and everything.
6'5", 300. Yeah.
So when he went for the minimum contract, like $1.5 million on 1 year, or maybe it's 1 year, $2 million, something like that, right? I was very vocal, like, damn, I would have loved to have had him back at that number.
For that, yeah.
And for a backup center, and who knows, maybe you can put him at guard because he's got the size. Sometimes centers don't have the size to play other positions.
And who knows, if they did that, they might have kept Big E at left guard and gave him another contract when he wanted it.
Could have been, right? And here's the other thing, too. Josh Myers, though, might have looked at that minimum contract with the Packers and said, the hell with that, I ain't signing it. I don't want to come back, right?
Yeah,
right. We don't know the entire story there. And who can blame him, right? Go get a fresh start somewhere else and know that you'll get a fair shake at it. Not that he didn't get a fair shake here. It just didn't work out. But, yeah, to answer your question, Jacob, Elton Jenkins is definitely the better player, but we got to be fair and mention that Elton Jenkins get paid a lot more money than Josh Myers is, right? So, yeah, for the dollar amount, dollar for dollar, who would be the better value? It would probably be Josh Myers, just because Elton's getting paid so much.
Yeah,
but then again, I don't know, man. For Elton, I think you wanted that veteran presence, and I think he will get better as the season goes along. I do, because he did. The other reality is he missed all of camp. He missed all off season essentially, right? He kind of held out a little bit, or whatever it may have been. So, all right, well, there you go. There's your offensive side of things. Let's jump over to defense now.
Let's go. Micah Parsons, top of the list. That's why he's wearing number 1, baby. Let's go.
92.6 PFF grade for Micah Parsons. His run defense grade, but Uncle Jerry said he can't play run defense. 77.4, tackle grade of 74.9. He was on my notes for a couple run stops. I remember when I was starting the game yesterday. Pass rush grade though 92.8. He had 8 total pressures, 3 sacks. Parsons having a hell of a game again, boys. And again, pointing out he's in the blue, right, Drew?
Yep.
I don't mean to rhyme. I do it all the time. He's always in the blue.
He's in that Penn State blue, baby.
So his grade for the year, 66, 91, 82, 94, 78, 92. His grade on the season, obviously, at 93.3 right now. And it is official. This is the highest season grade that Micah Parsons has ever had. And here are his grades starting his rookie year. 89, 91, 92, 90, and this year with the Green Bay Packers, a 93.3.
Like a fine wine, baby, getting better with age. I love it.
Absolute dog, man. Again, he's one of those dudes too. Now, Jacob, we were a little concerned about snaps, right? This would be a good way to take a look at that. Micah Parsons had 54 snaps yesterday. Okay, let's look at the other edge defenders.
Gary had 47. Wow.
Yeah. So Micah played, what would that be? 7 more snaps than Gary. So he played the most of the edge defenders, right? So that's kind of cool there. It's just worth mentioning. I love the fact that Keyshawn Nixon and Xavier McKinney didn't come off the field all damn day. They were like, keep me out here. Love it.
Can I take number 2 on this list? I don't want to take any thunder away from Micah Parsons. We all know the dog that Micah Parsons is, but if there was a 4th game ball for Coach LaFleur to give out yesterday, it would go to Colby Wooden. 86 defensive grade, 86.9 run defense grade, 72.1 tackle grade, 56 on the pass rush, 61 coverage grade. Mr. Colby Wooden, Mr. Bubble Guy that we were talking about, stepping the hell up in the absence of Heavy D, Devontae Wyatt. We needed Colby Wooden in this game, and he stepped up big time. We got to give him his props for sure.
42 snaps too, Tim.
Let's go.
He was that dude. He was
first guy on the cam in the tunnel after the game. We saw that at the top of the show. That was Colby Wooden getting it started for us.
Yes,
putting up great numbers. Look at these last two ball games. Really,
3 out of the last 4.
Here for it, man. I can't say enough about Colby Wooden. Love it.
So his grades, Jacob, starting in week 1, 64, 64, 76, had a stinker in Dallas of 46, then rebounded right back with a 73, and then, like Tim said, an 86 this week. Got a grade on the year, 73.8. Is Colby Wooden earning a contract that we weren't talking about? Is that what's going on here?
Let's go.
I think so. I mean, like you said, those quote unquote, like the 60, that's not a bad day, right? 64 is not a bad day. 76 obviously is great. Look at that pass rush there with the 78-6 in the week 3 against Cleveland. And then obviously, like you said, the last 2 weeks have just been phenomenal, especially this last game. And
wasn't the Dallas game when, not to cut you off, but wasn't the Dallas game when we lost Devontae Wyatt?
It was.
Get hurt. Okay, so that might explain the low grade for him.
Thrown into the fire, right?
Yep, getting thrown into the fire, 23 snaps, or whatever that was. So
that's a great point.
Yep.
Great point there.
Agreed.
So, yeah, Colby Wooden, we'll see, man. But again, now, so he's got 1 more year left on his contract, right? Yeah. So he's under contract through 2026 because he's a draft pick, 4-year deal, right?
Yep.
So we don't have to make that decision until next offseason, right? That's awesome. For some reason, I was thinking it was the last year of his deal. So that's great news there. If he continues to peak and you get Devontae Wyatt back and Colby Wooden's still playing like this, and you got Micah Parsons playing with his damn hair on fire, and Rashawn Gary continuing to do what he does, Kingsley Nibare Listen, he looked pissed off yesterday. He hit people a couple of times, and I went, Lord have mercy, that dude is mad.
Yeah.
Like, you could tell he was pissed that he wasn't getting
And
reps.
Igbare is trying to remind people, like, hey, don't forget about me.
Yeah.
Do not forget about me.
Well,
now, it is his contract year, so he's playing for that football life, right? So,
yeah.
So again,
Down the stretch here, guys. I mean, just imagine how our defense is playing right now, and let's just add back in again Cox, add back in freaking LVN, back in Devontae Wyatt. I mean, that's scary. Devontae Wyatt was playing at a unbelievable level before the unfortunate injury kind of struck him down. And when he comes back, and if Wooden is stepping his game up, if Brooks can have some flashes here and there, guys got the young guys, Brinson and Stackhouse, and obviously everybody at the edge. Like, we are poised to make a freaking splash in the last part of this season.
I agree. I mean, that was the plan when we put Kenny in that deal to get Micah, right? And the plan was to put Devontae Wyatt in that position, and losing him to injury and seeing these guys step up in the meantime is exactly what we need. This team is playing together right now for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Next on the list, this guy right here, man. Boys, he showed up here lately too. Isaiah McDuffie at 80.2 defensive grade, 72.9 run defense, tackle grade is 78.9. The coverage grade is what I'm most excited about.
Look at that.
8, man. So when you dive into it, let's see what kind of year he's having so far. Look at this, boy. There's a lot of green there. 55, 77, 72, 79, 71, 80. So his grade on the season,
great.
82.4.
What?
And listen, you're talking about 108 snaps too. Again, now keep in mind, he's mostly playing Sam Backer in our base 4-3. That's when he's getting his reps, right? However, you get to playing that good, it might not just be a 4-3 thing. If somebody gets banged up, I feel comfortable with him coming in the way he's playing. Here's what's awesome. You guys remember he signed that very, very, very team-friendly deal, 2-year extension. So we got him under contract next year as well. So
huge.
That's awesome, dude. How about that, boys? So again, the PFF grades on the career is 60, 58, 57, 55, and then this year, bang, 82.4.
Look at the coverage grades, though. You're right, Clayton. That's the thing that jumps off the chart, right? Mm-hmm. We always knew Zay McDuffie was a run-stuffing dog and a thumper of a tackler and just a beast on special teams. But this coverage grade steadily improving is something I did not have on my bingo card. So tip your cap to Zay McDuffie for sure.
Yeah, just a quick update in the Lions-Bucks game. Unfortunately, Jahmyr Gibbs just housed a 78-yard touchdown run in about 4 seconds, as the Turk McGarrett says. He shot out of a cannon there. So 14-0 Lions.
Hey, see, I'm looking at this game going, this can't go wrong for us. If the Lions win, then we've got the best record in the NFC. If the Lions lose, we get to make fun of Lions fans. We get a little breathing room in the North, So this is just one of those win-win situations. I love it, man. I love it. So, again, what I would like to see happen is the Lions get too confident right now and then have it smack them in the mouth here in a couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Like we've never seen Baker Mayfield come back from a 2-scorer deficit.
That's a great point. The game doesn't start for Baker until the second half. But, Isaiah McDuffie, man, hell of a year so far. That is awesome. Xavier McKinney, 77.9 PFF grade. That's the bounce-back game we're looking for, X. 54, 54, 70, 61, 66, and now a 77. So his PFF grade's up to a 67 now. And, again, throughout his career, 70, 75, 61, 87, 84, and up to a 67. I would be very, very, very surprised if X doesn't finish the year well into the mid or upper 70s at least, So, again, you're seeing him getting better for 3 weeks in a row, right? He graded out 70 in week 3 and then had a setback to 61, gets better again, 66, gets better again, 77. So, tackle grade is phenomenal, too. They've been playing him in the box a lot more than post safety because they know, they want to get him around the ball a little bit more is what it seems like to me. But,
and I think they have more confidence in Evan Williams now on the post. You can trust him back there.
Yeah.
Oof. Total yards right now, Detroit has 266 to the Tampa Bay's 36.
So that defense showed up to play today. Does that mean Tampa sucks all of a sudden, guys? Does that mean Baker Mayfield should be benched and Tampa's coaching staff should be fired? Is that what's going on?
Mayfield. Fire him.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
All right. Up next, this keeps happening. Juan Bullard, 73.0 on 61 snaps. Run defense grade 79. Tackle grade 70. The coverage grade the coverage grade this week 67.1. 86.1. That's kind of a rarity, right? Well, actually, look at there. Week 6
weeks in a row.
85. So 2 weeks in a row, he's putting it together, Tim.
Now we know why Nate Hobbs isn't going to the slot anytime soon.
I'm having a hard time with it too, man. I seen all the Nate Hobbs slander. I get it. I understand. It's tough. And people are going, you can't sit him, you can't bench him because you paid him $50 million. You didn't pay him $50 million.
Right.
You paid him $16 million guaranteed, and you have an out this year. If they wanted to cut bait from Nate Hobbs after this year, I'm not saying they should, I'm just giving you the other side. If they want to move on from Nate Hobbs after this year, you free up $1 million in cap space. You basically eat that dead cap. You're going to come out $1 million ahead of his regularly scheduled cap hit for next year, and you can move on. So it was really like a 4-year deal. It was really a 1-year deal is essentially what it was. And who knows, he may ball out the rest of the year. To me, Tim, it feels like Nate Hobbs is a slot corner being forced to play outside. And it felt like
we have an outside corner waiting in the wings that needs snaps. And you talk about progress stoppers. It's not a knock on Nate Hobbs at all. It's just if there was one argument for a guy playing out of position in Green Bay, I think it's 2-1 right now. And it says more about Javon Bullard than it does really anyone else. It's the fact that Bull is playing the way he's playing in the slot. You can't pull him and start Hobbs over him based on what we've seen thus far, because you have a progress stopping situation there with another young player. So you're in a rock and a hard place right now.
I think that was their reaction, knowing they were moving on from Jair Alexander. It's like, hey, we got to get another body in here. We got to get somebody of veteran presence. And I still don't think it was a bad signing. I don't. Right. Yeah. Because if you don't sign Nate Hobbs and Carrington starting and Carrington goes down, who's your outside corner now?
Bowman.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, that's a lot tougher to handle there. Right. Yeah. So I'm excited about Bullard though, man. Bullard, I think is starting to turn the corner.
He might be turning that corner right now as we speak.
He plays with this level of intensity too. Like, I know he's not great in coverage. I get it. But man, when the ball is around him underneath or on a running play, I would trust him about over anyone attacking the football.
Him and Evan just are sharks.
And
epitomize the human meatness.
Coverage coming up, right? He might not be great, but he's leaning towards decent.
Yeah.
These last couple of weeks. So if he makes that a strong attribute of his game, he's really got a bright future ahead of him.
Yeah. So another player, we just got through talking about Kobe Wooden with an 86.0. Another player helping fill in for our boy Devontae Wyatt while he's out with the injury is Carl Brooks. He showed up yesterday, man, 70.8 with a 73.1 run defense grade. A tackle grade was horrible at a 29.9. Pass rush was sitting at a 61.7. But again, overall, he ended up logging a 70.8. So he's at a 56.7 on the year. He's one of these players that's kind of went backwards in terms of PFF grades throughout his career, which is really strange. It seemed like he fit the Joe Barry scheme a lot better in that 34 front as opposed to a 4-3 front. Yeah. However, yesterday, pretty damn good ball game there from Carl Brooks. I don't see no reason to spend a whole lot of time there. But you guys got anything you want to add to that?
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate what he's done. I think that he's been a great cog in our machine. I don't necessarily know if he's going to get extended kind of thing. I don't know if he's played that well, but it was kind of him and Wooden I kind of both hold as almost the same player, where it's like I just want one of these two to make a play once every couple of weeks, and I feel confident about that's like just great backups. And I don't mean that as an insult whatsoever. Like I would think that guys like Wyatt would be kind of our frontier, and they'd be more of like the guys kind of in the background that hopefully every now and then they could play. I really liked Carl Brooks's potential coming out. Wasn't it Bowling Green? Is that where he was from? Something like that. Smaller school where he played a lot of D end.
Yeah.
Shuffled all around that line. I'd like to see him maybe use a little more like that, but when we have the edge room, we can't really ask for them to cut into those guys' snaps,
We got an injury that just occurred here in the Lions and the Buccaneers game, trying to see exactly what happened. It looked like Mike Evans was on the ground.
Say that.
Yeah, I'm trying to get
it's a head injury. His head bounced off the turf real bad. It took a while getting up. He is up, walked off on his own power. I think he's in concussion protocol.
He'll be in the protocol.
Yeah, so he's done for the evening probably.
Talk about first ballot Hall of Famers.
Man, that dude, I could not believe it when they read off his stats one night. I was like, there ain't no way. So
Mama, there goes that man.
I'm telling you. Oh, here we go. Deep shot. Okay, that was the play right there. Oh, man, he had it too, didn't he, Jacob?
Yeah, he actually, his arms go limp. That's what's a little scary is he secured the catch, but his arms just physically release that ball as he's turning over.
He was laying out for a diving catch, and he looked like he had it too. He just got knocked unconscious when he hit the turf. So again, the line's still leading 14-0 on mine. About 3 minutes left in that ball game. So moving along here. So we talked about Carl Brooks. Kingsley Enagbare is 64.1. Pretty solid performance for him. Rashawn Gary is 63.5. So on the year, PFF has not been too fond of Rashawn Gary, who leads the Packers in sacks and run stops at the defensive line position. I don't know how that works, but 63, 60, 72, 71, 68, 63. So his grade on the year is a 70.3. Obviously, it's not bad, right? But what you're seeing is a steady decline in terms of PFF for Rashawn Gary. Starting back in 2021, 89, 82, 79, 73, 70 now on the young year. Okay. Now, obviously, that 73.0 made the Pro Bowl last year. He led all edge defenders in run stops. I looked at that 73 grade last year and was like, they don't know what the hell they're looking at. That must be an Uber driver grade in that tape because that dude was dominant in the run game, right? So with that being said, are we concerned about Gary? And I want to mention this about Rashawn Gary. You guys know I'm a big supporter of Rashawn Gary. I feel like he has been very underrated from the fan base, extremely underrated from the sports media geared around Green Bay. However, there's going to be a decision that has to be made next year, right, on that cap hit because his cap hit's going to jump a little bit. The guaranteed money is the majority of it's gone. You can restructure. You can cut the salary cap hit down and give him a little more guaranteed money if you want to keep him.
Yes,
but
let's do that.
It's looking like he's on the decline if you just looked at PFF. Okay, if you just looked at that, right? Now, Tim, we know they like to get rid of players 1 year earlier rather than 1 year too late, right? He's going to be 28 years old by the end of this season. So going into next year, he's going to be 29. It feels like there'll be a restructure next year. And maybe you'll tack on a couple voidable years where you got the skeleton of a contract where you can kind of, all right, you can extend him if you want to. But definitely got to lower that cap number. I don't know what the exact number is. I can look it up real quick. But I want to get your all's take on Gary. Do you think – and I see the super chat there, Jerry. We'll hit that in just 1 second, okay? Do you think Rashawn Gary's best football is behind him, or do you think he's going to rebound? What do y'all think about that?
I'm not betting against Rashawn Gary ever. So I would say, yeah, he's going to rebound or stay steady Eddie. I would like to see him retire a Green Bay Packer. I think you're right. The cap number's got to come down. I think a restructure is a no-brainer. And I don't think Rashawn would scoff at that either. You know, I think we can make this benefit him and the Packers and keep him here, you know, beyond 30. You know, we talk about dirty 30, whatever you want to call it. I believe in the tangible things we see on the field and the intangibles that he does, you know, on and off the field. We talk about leadership in this locker room. We got a young team here, guys, still a very young team. That's the type of veteran leadership you want to have in your locker room. I'm not going to bet against Rashawn. I would think that he'll either bounce back or continue to do what he does and, you know, be a valuable member of this team for the next at least 3 seasons. I would like to see him stay. That's my opinion.
All right. Jacob?
Yeah, I mean, to Tim's point, that dirty 30, but that's 2 years out. He's 27.8 years old. So even if he comes in this time, I think we got a couple good years. I would love to see some sort of restructure, an extension that gets us with him at least until he's 31. I've seen the motor on that guy. You've seen the emotional intelligence that he has, that he plays with, that passion, that fire. To him, I believe that football is not just a job. I think that it's his actual passion in life, that he has dedicated his everything to. His family is a part of it. His you know, the way that he's embraced this community. He's the type of guy I want to offer a third contract to and bring him back and, like you said, solidify him in that Hall of Fame. Yep. Packers Hall of Fame, at least.
And when you look at his contract, this year his cap hits $25.7 million. All right. Next year he turns 29. His cap hit jumps only a little less than $3 million. So it's not much of a jump at all. It kind of feels like they would keep him under this number at a $28 million cap hit. But the number you want to focus on is the dead cap. All right. dead cap attached is $17 million. So essentially, you can free up $11 million if you move on from him before the 2026 season. If you keep him under contract at that $28 million, the cap hit jumps to $31 million in 2027, whereas dead cap is only 8.5. So when he turns 30 years old, you could cut bait and free up roughly $21 million in cap space. So I think there's a decent chance he returns next year. I hope he does. I just feel like it's not unrealistic to have that conversation right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're
That's
getting
fair.
to that point. Unfortunately, it sucks.
Yeah.
I hope he turns into our boy that came from Chicago. Was it Julius Peters? Is that his name?
Julius
No.
Peppers, man.
Dude, I hope he turns into that and plays till he's 70. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
the reality is Rashawn Gary plays a little bit different game than Peppers did, right? And Peppers had a freak body. Gary, man, he's smashing skulls every single play. You know, he plays with that power rush and obviously jamming his forehead into another man's forehead. So, yeah, 52 deserves to retire as a Packer. They need to let somebody, says Packed for. So, yeah, understand that. All right.
Just real
Now,
quick
let's get
update in the Bucks Lions game. The Bucks just fumbled it once again. The Lions take over with good position. It's looking a little 2 minutes left just now in the second quarter. We got the 2-minute warning.
Gotcha. So losing the turnover battle and losing it in the middle late there too. That sucks. Which, by the way, Rashawn Gary strip sacked last night or yesterday, I should say. Came in the middle late and it was our only turnover. Like it's single-handedly probably the most important play of the day for sure for Rashawn Gary. Jerry with the super chat. Thank you so much, Jerry. Why haven't we seen any Bo Melton in the corner position? I said this when we were in camp, Jerry. Kind of felt like it was his last shot to make the roster was to see if he could make corner work. And I know the buzz really took off and everybody got really excited about Bo Melton contributing at the cornerback position. I remember the national sports media were making it sound like this is Jair's replacement. I don't think that was ever the plan, right? I think it was you want to keep him for special teams. The wide receiver room is overcrowded now. Let's see if he can play some corner too, and let's prep him for that, right? Let's see if he made the list. So he didn't play any snaps yesterday, right? No, but he was suited up against his brother, so. No grade there from him. So
we might have more offensive snaps out of Bo than
I think so
at this point.
Yeah, I think you're right because she was definitely asking about the corner position. But yeah, I think it was just more along cross training him and trying to have an extra body there in the cornerback room because the wide receiver room got so stacked. I think it was a good move. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a bad move, but I just don't think it was ever in the cards like, hey, this guy's going to be a key contributor at corner. I think it's going to be on special teams. I really like him as a returner.
I was just going to say, I think that he's maybe found his niche at this point of his, or at least in this season, as a really good returner. I like him.
I like it. Anything to keep Matthew Golden from back there returning.
Exactly. And Dobby. Don't put Dobby back there.
Yeah.
All right, we're over on time, so we got to wrap up pretty soon. I want to hit on Quay a little bit. Tim, we talked about this, right? We expected PFF to be down on him, even though we felt like he had a good day. So his PFF grade yesterday was a 58.6. Right? His run defense grade was a 28.6, but his tackle grade was an 81.5. His pass rush grade was a 91.6. That's tough, right? Like, is that 28.6 hurting him that bad? Did he have any penalties?
I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember any on him. Good Lord.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
I don't know. We're still going here. I don't see any penalties. Do you?
No.
So they don't have it.
Maybe the chat can help us. I don't think there were any flags on Quay. And then I know he caught that shot, was a little shaken up, missed a few plays. Shout out to Tyron Hopper for stepping in and filling the void. But
I thought he looked cool too, man. I forget about Hopper.
Hopper looked good in the limited reps we saw, but to see
they said he was worse than Quay.
Yeah, well, he only played 3 snaps, right?
Yeah, 3 snaps, yeah.
And how many did Quay play? What was his snap total? Well, in the 50s, right?
Oh yeah, should have been. Let's see here.
68. Okay, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, and he grades at a 58.6. Yeah, PFF has beef with Quay Walker, and I don't know why. I thought that was arguably his best game as a Green Bay Packer, what we saw yesterday out there.
Agree.
Absolute dog. And yeah, you guys know I stand for Quay, so I'm not gonna say anything else.
Got it. All right. So there you go, guys. There is your. Well, let's look at Nate Hobbs. I think we would all agree this kind of looked like it yesterday, right? 47.9 was his grade. His coverage grade was a 42.1. I'm excited to look at the all-22 as soon as it drops because there was a couple times it looked like he got beat, But I also want to see, did somebody else lose their leverage? Was it some kind of a match coverage, and he was just in a bad spot? At the first glance on the TV copy, I don't remember seeing a play where like, well, that wasn't on Nate. It did kind of feel like he was playing out there on skates on the boundary. So his run defense grade, no surprise there, 73.9, but that coverage grade of 42.1, that ain't going to get it done, man. So we'll see how that goes moving forward. His season grades now start coming in. His best year was his rookie year at 80. 60, 69, 61. He's sitting at a 59 right now. J. Cole said illegal hands to the face.
That's the one penalty. Yep.
Yeah. Just a quick update. Lions just missed a 50-plus yard field goal, giving the Bucks back the ball with good field position with 1:52 left in the second.
All right. Let's give you a little play-by-play here. Got Baker in the gun. I'm probably a little bit behind y'all, right? Trips left. Look, he's going to load it up. Oh, he started to load it up. Now he's going to check it down and get his guy drilled. Oh, is that an interception?
Oh, you got it.
Tie goes to the receiver. Tie goes to the receiver. You do this to me, right? Which, by the way, we got to end it with this. I hope right. This is This is gonna be worth.
I think he might have got that ball. Oh, they gave it to the offense.
Yeah, the tie always goes to the offense. We learned that the tough way, right? Remember the Fel Mary?
I think they're going to review this.
All right, you ready for this, boys? Tim, your boy, this dirtbag Brad Allen, back at it again. Did you see this right here? Did you see this?
I heard about this.
Right, so
what happened though?
Mike Garafolo. I'm just going to play it one time, and then we're going to cut it off. Mike Garafolo said Broncos linebacker Dre Greenlaw has been suspended by the NFL one game for his action here towards referee Brad Allen after the team's game-winning field goal. So they kick a game-winning field goal. All right, you're going to see the field goal. It goes through. It's good. Everybody's celebrating. That knucklehead Brad Allen is literally – did you see him just now? Look in the middle of this pile. Watch everybody come in. Look at Brad Allen right in the middle of it. Watch. Look like you're on his shoulders almost, right? So look, it keeps going. Now Brad Allen walks out, and look at Dre Greenlaw. What's he yelling at him? You see him?
Because Brad Allen shoved a Broncos player. Roll that back. You could see when he was in there, he put his hands on a Broncos player, shoved him out of the way. Watch. Right.
Oh, yeah.
He did.
The right hand. So that's
40.
Greenlaw had beef with.
Yeah. So you see here, Greenlaw runs him down, right? And look, he throws a flag. Game's over.
End of the game, you loser.
So now there may be
Greenlaw gets suspended. Are they going to suspend Brad Allen for making contact with a player?
They don't suspend dirtbags, unfortunately. But if you scroll down here, the comments were on fire, man. Look, the little referee threw his flag on him. We have a serious referee problem in the NFL, right? Did that ref throw a flag post game? This man threw a flag 8 seconds after the game was over. Man, I cannot stand Brad Allen. So, yeah, there you go. So,
that dude goes to the grocery store, and if somebody cuts him off, he'll throw a flag.
Yeah, exactly.
This ain't real life, Brad.
So, anyway, I think you're right, Tim. It did look like he got pissed that he put his hands on him. And you know what it reminded me of, honestly, was the Quay Walker situation. Everybody bashes Quay because he pushed that trainer, but they forget there was a scrum. The trainer comes in, grabs Quay by the back of the jersey, and pulls him off. And he probably immediately thinks it's a player. So he get off me, right?
Or he probably just responded like any other grown man would if you put your hands on him. He's going to react to it, right?
They reversed the call. It's an interception.
Unbelievable. That's some Detroit home field cooking right there, baby. It did look like he had two hands on it.
Yeah.
And the other guy had one. But, yeah, I was hoping the tie would go to the receiver. Wasn't really a tie, though. Anyway. All right, that's it, guys. We're going to get out of here. I'm going to go downstairs and get chewed out by the wife. And, we're going over again. But anything else you guys want to hit on before we get out of here? Anything at all? Tim, you want to mention the charity that we're raising money for here, man? This is exciting stuff.
Yeah, we've got a little less than 2 weeks left here, guys. OperationHorsesHeal.org. We're doing big things. We partnered up with them to help our veterans and their family members, as well as active duty servicemen and women out there. Operation Horses Heal. We're trying to raise money to get them a truck and a trailer so they can bring these equine therapy, horse assisted programs to veterans directly. They have the space right now in Westboro, Wisconsin, where veterans can go on their own self-guided wellness journey. But really, we want to hit that $30K mark to help them get a truck and a trailer so they can bring the horses directly to the veterans and their families. So each donation at operationhorsesheal.org/how can I help is an entry to win an autographed Romeo Dobbs white away jersey. I believe Clayton's got hooked up for us. You can also scan the QR code in the upper right hand of your screen or go to operationhorsesheal.org to make your donation. The drawing is going to be, I believe, first week in November. You've got until October 31st, Halloween, to get your donations in for your chance to win that Romeo Dobbs jersey.
Get your name entered in before you turn into a pumpkin there on 31st.
Before you turn into a Brad Allen.
Oh. There you go. Really, really excited though about partnering up with them. Excited to do stuff with them in the future. And again, if you don't have any funds to donate to a good cause like this, hey, spread the word with the website, operationhorsesheal.org, and just get them some traffic over there. And anybody you know that's passionate about helping veterans and great causes geared around that, just let them know. So that being said, we're out of here. Jacob, you got anything else, man? Anything smart you want to say to the people before we wrap up?
Never got nothing smart to say, Clayton. I will say that Drew D seconds what Tim just said. He says, I know people that have had equine therapy, worked amazingly for them. So great cause there. Absolutely awesome.
Yep. Appreciate that. Thanks, Drew.
All right, guys, that's it. We're out of here. Appreciate y'all. We will be back tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central for PTA Live. The goal tomorrow will be we'll look at the updated rankings and see exactly where the Packers sit in all the important statistical categories. I'll start to get Chalk Talk together. It'll probably be Wednesday when we do Chalk Talk, and then Thursday we're on to the Steelers, baby. We're jumping into the game plan there and start talking about all that. We'll also have you guys an injury report coming up Wednesday, the first injury report of the week. So excited about that. If y'all would hit that new crack. Thank you, Jake. Wise words there for sure. So just make sure you hit like for us, hit subscribe, and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live in the future. But we appreciate y'all. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world, and go back.
Here we go. Bye, guys.